Hello, in this video I will show you how you can add practice tasks to the course, such as tests, quizzes and assignments of different kind. You can ask your students to provide written answers, take tests, record audio messages and even video messages on Kviga platform. Important to note that at first you create the task and then you can add this task or assignment to the course or any courses, or even include it in different lessons several times during the course. So we start with by creating the task, and at first we will create a test. Let's go in the menu, click quizzes and then click on add quiz button, and you can type the name of the quiz. This name may be visible or may not be visible to your students, and how it will appear to your students will be defined in the settings of the quiz that we will quickly review. Our next step, you are offered to select the type of question your quiz will have. Quiz.Kviga can contain different types of questions, meaning your test can have one single choice, one multiple choice questions, and ratings and filling gaps. A lot of types can be combined in one quiz in any order, with only one exception, that is assignment LMS. We will cover what is different about it in further parts of the video. At first, we are going to create a simple test that contains single choice and multiple choice questions. The difference is, in one case, student can select only one answer, and in multiple choice, student can select several answers or all of the answering options. So let's first create a single choice question, and before we begin adding a question, so writing here question and adding answer, I suggest we review settings of the quiz. So first is displaying name. Obviously you either display name or you want it hidden from students, and then you can only see it. You want low mini navigation within question. You can always look up what each option means under the question mark. Usually the most important ones would be mixing questions and rotating or shuffling the answers. So in a test, when you add, you can always add, for example, the correct answer, the first one, but if it's allowing shuffling, it will be shuffled for you or during each attempt student takes. And the number of attempts. Of course, your students can retake the test, but if you allow only one attempt for your students to retake the test, you need to log into your account and allow one more attempt. If you want students from the start have several attempts, you can change it, for example, to 3 attempts. And you can even select only if they fail the quiz, they can retake it. If you want students to have no limitations, meaning they can retake as many times as they want, you can type here, for example, 900 attempts, but let's keep it, for example, at 3. That means that if student takes a test, after they retake first attempt, they will have the button retake the test. You can allow them to return to previous question if needed. You can allow points in the quiz if needed by selecting yes. And I want to point out that this total points for quiz for now is 0. Over here, you can add additional points for quiz, meaning if student passes the quiz, you can tell, okay, whomever passes this quiz will get additional 10 points in addition to the points they get for questions. If you are not sure how it works, we recommend do not change this setting, and I will show how you can add points for each question or each answer separated further. And here you can set up what is the conditions for passing the quiz. For example, not 100%, but let's say 80% of the correct answers, and we will have 5 questions in this test. Let's say 4 questions need to be answered correctly. 4 points. And delay in approving the quiz, that is if you want our students to appear that someone actually checks the quiz, you can set up delay. By default, you can keep it as 0. Another important setting is to allow students to see questions after passing the quiz, meaning you don't need to show result at all, or you want to show them how they answer it or where they answered, which questions they answered correct phone, or full information. As usually, look up the full detailed information and you can always check it. Now let's get back to the question and add certain settings. So I have here the question and I will add 4 answers and quickly copy them in front of you. The correct answer for this question is C. So we will quickly change it to this one by marking it as green, correct one. And we can remove all that unnecessary information. Now, if you want to add points, for example, for answering this, we want to give 1 point. You can just mark it here. Another thing is you can mark this question as mandatory to answer, meaning your students will not be able to skip it. And you can set up additional time limit to answer the specific question. If you want a specific time limit for the whole quiz, you can define it in settings. That can be done here with the timer, set it up and define, for example, you give 5 minutes for the test or 1 hour for the test. Let's for now disable it and don't give any restrictions. Further, we can add more the same type questions, single choice. And mark the correct one here as B. Alternatively, let's not forget to mark it as mandatory. And you can also copy the question and then just edit the answer question and the answer, and it might be faster, especially if you don't want to forget about requirements. You can go back here and you will see the list of the questions you have. Let's continue creating one more question, and the next question we will add as multiple choice question. It's same principle. You mark correct answers as green. However, we can have here several green correct answers. Let me add the question and some answers. Let's not forget that each question can have points. For example, these questions will have half points. And on the top questions, we didn't add points to correct answer. Let's fix it as well. You can also define, if you wish to, points for wrong answers, if it's necessary for you or you think it fits. So that's it. We have 5 questions and our test is ready to be added to the course. Let's do that right away. Let's go back or open here in the menu, courses, and find our SMM course. We can click on the number of lessons, find the lesson we want to add, and we have an option to add here this quiz by 2 options. One is practice and one is list of practices. If you want your test to appear as part of the lesson, so meaning on the same page right after the materials, you select practice. And if you want your test to appear on separate page, I will later show how, then you can select list of practices. So now we've added this quiz here. We can set up it as checkpoint, meaning to pass further for next lesson, a student must pass this quiz. That is called checkpoint in our system, and you can see this flag appearing, meaning this quiz is used as checkpoint. You will also see it on the program, on the outline of the course, that this lesson has a checkpoint. You can set up as checkpoint different quizzes or several quizzes at once. And I suggest now we view how this lesson appears with our quiz that we've created. So this is the videos, materials we want students to read, and here is the quiz. we can see that it will give 5 points, and we appears the first question. That is actually not the first question because we allowed shuffling, and student can select, click next. Question is mandatory. Here you can select several answers. I'm just clicking any answer so you see the result. Once the quiz is completed, we didn't pass and we got 1.5 points. And we have one more try because we allowed 3 tries, so it will appear still twice. Student can retake the test. Now let's go back and I can show you how we can add this quiz as a list of practices. So we can delete it in here from the lesson and add it as a list of practices. We can same style select it as checkpoint. Same principle, however, the course will appear, the lesson will appear somewhat different, meaning you can see the lesson and it finishes with a link to practice. It has separate page for this course dedicated. And when you for this quiz dedicated page, and when you click on it, you will open. Student will see directly only the page with this quiz. They can still open lesson in separate tab, but they will see over here only one quiz. Same quiz, nothing else. Now let's go back and create some additional tasks, for example, open-ended questions. So you can do that by going back to menu and clicking on quizzes as we did before, or you can do it right from the course by clicking create task. So let's create new quiz. Now, if you want your students to give open-ended questions, we recommend to use this option, text, file, audio, video answer, which basically includes all the possible answers, open-ended question answers. Let's make it right away mandatory, and for example, we ask students to provide an answer to such question. You can select what type of answer you expect, string field, text field means they are allowed to type much more information. You can use this form also as to collect email or date, meaning if it is sort of some form or agreement you want to record, you can allow audio responses or not, and by closing you see that microphone icon disappears. For example, we allow, and we allow even video answers, and we allow file uploads in response. Please note that all files that your students upload go into storage that you are using on Quiga, meaning if you allow video responses and you have high number of students, the volume of your storage will be significantly increasing. As before, you can copy this question and edit it, meaning to different formulation if you wish. And for example, we don't allow video answers. You can add timer, you can add points if you want to set up, for example, by allowing in settings points. So we can tell that maximum for this question is 10 points and for this as well 10 points. Now you may ask, with the test it's more clear. We set up the points and the passage who passes the quiz, the test. However, with such open-ended questions, who is defining how many points student's answer gets? Did he answer correct or not? Who reviews it? That can be done by setting up something called offer in our system, meaning on the price plan you define how each quiz will be checked automatically or by someone, you or your assistant. You can also define that in settings of the quiz as this quiz approval automatically. So with open-ended questions, our system for now does not allow any analysis, meaning if whatever student types, if he types anything at all, even any gibberish information, it will give him 10 points and it will count that he passed this quiz. If you want it to be reviewed by all the time, doesn't matter what they write, you can set up here manual review. You can define that it's only 20 points possible for this quiz, and you or your assistant will be reviewing it. You can override these settings in the price plan, meaning you can combine different price plans for your course, such as self-pass, where students even answer such questions, but you don't actually review them, with someone checks their answers. And further on how to set it up, we will check in next lessons. So over here, we can add additional questions if you wish. Let's say forbid any response, and we leave it as a text field. And let's go back to our course. Okay, we find to our lesson where we can add this question. So for example, we have assignments and we will add this practice. Question 2. We will mark it as a checkpoint. Let's add to discussion question. Sorry, to assignments, one more practice. For example, the quiz. And let's not mark it as, or let's mark it as a checkpoint. And on the list of practices, I will add same to quizzes. Sorry, but in a different section, in the section of discussion. I will add list of practices. And for this, we need to remove, sorry. I will add same to quizzes, and we can compare how they appear. If you want to add them as checkpoint, you can add them here. And let's save and preview. So let's go to the assignments tab. Here we added both of the quizzes as practice. So they both appear on the page, and you see quiz with question number 2 appearing, and we can type our answer right here, and we see the quiz, the second one without the name appearing here and with the questions. On the discussion tab, we have to practice. So it's already what you can see the differences. You here it shows practice 2, meaning there are 2 practice questions. Student can directly see them here in the course program. However, here he doesn't see what assignments entails, how many of them there are, and he can click on each quiz separated, and he passes to the page of the quiz. Here he can see both quizzes, question 1 with open-ended questions and 2 with the quiz. However, each have of them their own link, and they don't see the lesson material, they don't see course outline, and if they go back to the course. However, they don't see the questions. That's basically it. You can play around, check which format you prefer more, meaning do you prefer quiz or assignment built in the assignment. For this, I remind you, use practice button, or you want a quiz or assignment to appear on a separate page and just in the end of or in the middle of the lesson as a link that leads students to a separate page. For this, use list of practices. In our common practice, that practice is used more for small assignments, and if you want more dedication, you use list of practices. And one more thing that I want to cover is assignment LMS type. Let me quickly show you. The specifics of this type of a question is that you can add only one question with this type. It is open-ended question, but it has a little bit more settings to play around and can be used for discussions among students. So that will allow only one question. You cannot add in this quiz anything else, no any other question, not even LMS. But you can play around with settings, meaning you can allow public replies or only private replies to you or your assistants. You can allow test responses or audio responses or video responses. That is as another one. You can upload, of course, allow files, and you can allow students to give messages after this task is reviewed. So the main difference is with the public replies, you can set up if student can send answer to all, and that way your other students will be able to see those public replies, and you can actually foster a typical discussion among students, or they can share their works depending on what your course is focusing on and comment on each other's works. That is the same way you add it to the course as any other assignment, and I remind you that once you create the task, especially for some more complicated tests, you can reuse the same assignment, the same task in any number of courses, in any number of lessons. So there is no limitation. The only limitation is the same quiz can be added once to the lesson section. And you can repeat the same test or the same question in another lesson. Meaning, for example, if you create a rating or a survey, you can create it once and you can see, add it to each lesson. How did you like the core? How did you like this lesson, for example? And you can see the add users answers everywhere. Let's say 0, 5, and 10, just for the speed up. And you can add the survey to each lesson everywhere. You don't need to create every time same quiz. This same question, same answers, but you can edit several times. And I will show you right away where you can see the answers that students can give you. So once the answers will start piling up, even now we practiced the answer. You see here in number course practice, now 1, and red one means there is something unchecked. So if we click here, we can see our written response that we gave while practicing, and one that needs to be checked. So here is our answers, and you or your system, this is what students don't see. They can click check button, they can read the answers, or you can read the answer, you can pass, not pass, you can write some certain comment. For example, you can say passed or need revision and then give them, let's say, 5 points. And once they answer one more time, you will be able to see their further replies under this cube, meaning how they answer it. You can provide comment for each answer separated if needed. That is totally different area, but I wanted just to give you a quick look on how it all works. But to sum up, to add any question to the course, you need first to create this question. You can do this under quizzes menu and organize them there, and then you open your lesson and just add any quiz you've created. Quiz used as general term for any assignment, lesson, quiz, whatsoever. You can add them to the lesson using practice or list of practices button. And it only differs how they appear. If you want your quiz or let's say a test to be mandatory, meaning the students must pass it before they move further with the course, you mark it as a checkpoint. If you don't see that menu, or you can add several quizzes, and each can be checkpoint or only one of them. So if you don't see that menu where I'm selecting this quiz or something, you can click on the name in the line and you will see that it appears.